ingredients and the FDA's push to get rid of fake colors in our food, PepsiCo is showing us how they're doing it while making sure customers still get the flavors they're used to. Two of America's favorite snacks are getting a revamp.
So in this jar is the super secret formula to the new Dorito?
This is the formula that we're working on.
Right now, Doritos and Cheetos get their bright colors from artificial dyes that the FDA and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. want the food industry to phase out by the end of next year. So Justin French and his team at the PepsiCo headquarters in Plano, Texas, are recreating their iconic orange with colorful vegetables and spices.
Here you have a combination of natural colors like beets, radishes, paprika, annatto, turmeric.
You can't just take this.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Tom Yamas.
We are coming in the air with breaking news right now and an update on conservative activist Charlie Kirk. President Trump says that Kirk has died after he was shot from a nearby building about 200 yards away while he was speaking at Utah Valley University. Here's the Trump the president has just put out. I want to put this up. He posted it on Truth Social. He writes, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." This is also important. The school is now saying there is no suspect in custody after they previously said that one was. Charlie Kirk, as you see here, was speaking at Utah Valley University earlier this afternoon. He had just started to take questions to debate some of the people who had come to watch him speak in this amphitheater. There were thousands of people there. Within a few minutes of him answering the second question, eyewitnesses heard a gunshot and then say they saw him recoil back, blood coming out of his neck or his chest. Thousands of people there, everyone ducked down and then started to run out and scramble. It is unclear exactly who shot Charlie Kirk, but if you are not familiar with him, he has become a very powerful person on the right when it comes to the political spectrum. He started Turning Point USA, which is an organization that has supported President Trump in both his campaigns, all three of his campaigns, I should say, and Charlie himself spoke at both Republican conventions. A very young activist who's gotten so popular with podcasting, on social media, a massive presence, and one of the things he does is he goes to college campuses, and you see it right here under the tent, prove me wrong, prove me wrong. He asked to debate college kids across the country. Obviously, he comes from a conservative side. He is a staunch supporter of President Trump. He worked with the president's son, Don Jr., and has carried the MAGA mantle all across the country and through various campaigns, and has become really one of the most powerful non-elected people in the Republican Party. I want to bring in our Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell. And Kelly, just earlier, I think this year, Charlie Kirk was speaking with California's Governor Gavin Newsom on the podcast. People from across the aisle today saying they are praying for Charlie Kirk. And this is stunning for so many reasons, but yet another political assassination in America.
Our nation's history has been stained by the blood of assassinations generation by generation. Infrequent, and yet when it happens, it is obviously a wrenching issue that often brings people across the political spectrum together. Charlie Kirk was a provocateur. He was someone who was fully engaged in all the modern tools of how you talk about politics and ideas in the United States. He did challenge his sort of political adversaries and those who are new to politics or those interested in politics to debate him. That was a core part of his political identity. He worked aggressively to galvanize young supporters, especially young white men, in the column for Donald Trump as a candidate and then returning to the White House. His access as a young man, 31 years old, to the president himself, the vice president, put him in an extraordinary category of the modern political influencer. Perhaps at no time in our country have we had someone who could come through not holding elective office, not having the traditional pathway, and yet carved out a voice and identity that, of course, brought many people along to his views, but also, because of the nature of politics, there were many who vigorously opposed his ideas. Many traditional ideas, ideas that were often challenging to the political, cultural divides that are in the United States. Also notable, Tom, is that it is incredibly rare that the President of the United States would make a death announcement like this. Typically, we learn from law enforcement. We do so after we know all family members have been notified. This speaks to the direct personal relationship between President Trump, his team, and Charlie Kirk, his wife, family, and so forth. So we have not yet had official confirmation beyond the president, as far as I know, in the moments I've been waiting to speak with you here. We've been reaching out to the highest levels of law enforcement. Also incredibly notable, at this point, we are not aware of any suspect being detained. When you saw the scene and the video that you showed gave us a sense of a very crowded campus environment. A tent largely for sun protection, not for security protection, but that would of course diminish some of the lines of sight, would give some ideas about where they might have been able to try to learn more about where did the gunshot come from, what direction, what are they learning. As we know, there was an older gentleman who was taken into custody, apparently not related to the violence itself, but this kind of thing happens at these chaotic events where police are trying to sweep up any kind of witnesses, information, people who might be able to help fill in the picture. So, major questions remain. Who is responsible? Were there a person or persons involved? What were the motivations? All of that yet to be identified. We have been in a season of political violence, Tom. In Minnesota, we saw the lawmakers at the state legislative level who were killed along with a spouse, another lawmaker wounded along with a spouse, and we have seen these attempts, including on the life of President Trump. That is notable. Separately and unrelated, the trial is beginning, the jury selection phase for one of the assailants, Ryan Ruth, in the Florida case involving an attempt on the life of President Trump. Case. Kirk, what a remarkable and tragic moment in our political life that someone who engaged, exercised, both encouraged and provoked those to share ideas, and violence has apparently taken it. President.
Yeah, you know, Kelly, we have covered politics, you and I, for a while now, and I don't know if we have seen, as you described it, a season of violence like this. Starting Butler, the assassination attempt on President. As we all saw in the photos and the video, and as the president has described, a second assassination attempt on his life. What happened just recently in Minnesota with those lawmakers assassinated literally on their front doorstep? And now you have Charlie Kirk, who was never elected, never held office, a political activist, a young man, now shot in cold blood in front of a very friendly crowd from the eyewitnesses we have spoken to. In a very sick type of irony, Charlie's group was called Turning Point because he thought there was a turning point now in politics with President Trump and where the Republican Party had gone. And Kelly, you wonder if now in his death, there may be a turning point when it comes to politics in this country. I mean, how will political activists, any type of political speech now, happen in America, right? When you have something like this happen in a place where someone thought he was speaking to a friendly crowd.
Well, certainly it was a largely friendly crowd. I mean, Utah, which is certainly conservative, a university-based, the kind of sort of group of followers who would know who Charlie Kirk is right off the bat, a figure who lived on their phones and in their social media, ever present in those ways. We have seen over time, when there are these wrenching moments of political violence, there are waves of what happens. Initially, there is the shock. There is bipartisan or across the spectrum condemnation of political